James Harris, where to start? First of all, congratulations on your maiden century. It was an incredible innings, one of the finest that many of us have watched here. But I guess first, start with the match. It was a crazy, crazy match, wasn't it? At the halfway stage, you were probably happy, but 24 for 5 was the killer, really, for this innings, wasn't it?
It was a really good game of cricket. I mean, they were 200 for 2 with about 15 overs to go, so to keep them to 300 was a really good effort, and we walked off feeling pretty happy. 300 with a shorter side, a biggish ground at Lords, and what we felt was a pretty good wicket. So we found ourselves in some trouble. 20 for 5 really hurt us, and me and John were just trying to keep us in the game for as long as we could, and we really felt like we were almost in charge for periods of it. To lose by 20 hurts a lot, really, but it was a pretty good game of cricket all round.
I mean, the bowling performance looked good. There were lots of dot balls. It looked like they'd left a fair few runs out there, especially, as you say, considering that short boundary. So just on that performance alone, you'd have been pretty pleased as a unit with the bowling performance.
Yeah, we were. We knew they had a bit of a tail, so it felt as though they didn't go too hard too early. So to be 304 down in 50 overs at the end was probably testament to how well we bowled and kept a lid on it. We didn't allow them to hit any boundaries towards the back end. So we walked off pretty happy. I mean, we've been really good this tournament in taking wickets and consistently taking wickets. And although we didn't do that today, we managed to not let them get away from us. So we felt 300. We were in the game massively at half time. The bowlers had a nice lunch, and we were, all pretty pleased with our efforts.
I guess you'd barely digested it, had you?
Pretty much, yeah. I was out there sooner than I thought I would be. I mean, it's been a little bit of a plan that I'd come up the order through in a little bit of trouble and try and back up, Simo, George and Toby towards the back end where we can cause some chaos. And we nearly worked perfectly today in the way it worked out, but we were just a little bit short.
Just going back to that start, I mean, sometimes you do have to tip your hat, don't you? Because that was an incredible spell of bowling at both ends. One of the ends, Jimmy Anderson, but Mahmood was outstanding, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he'd argue that Jimmy got out bowled, which doesn't happen a huge amount. So kudos to them. They made it hard for us up top and took some wickets. And it's the way the group's gone all tournament, really. And whoever's come in and whoever's managed to do a job has managed to keep us in games and win us games, and it was a shame that we couldn't get us over the line.
At that point, it could have been borderline embarrassing for Middlesex, but throughout the entire group, Middlesex have faced adversity in all of the victories. There's been points where it's wobbled. The key to Middlesex this year in their one-day cup is how they've come back again and again and again, and even from 24 for 5, nearly came back to chase 305.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a big turning point, I think, in our summer, and Stuart and Nick have got to take a lot of credit for that, as well as Alan Coleman, amongst all the other boys. We feel like we've made a real shift in the dressing room, and to nearly pull off a win there after being 20 for 5, chasing 300, I think shows how much belief is in the team at the moment, and I think we can be really proud, although we come out the losing side today, to run them close. After being in that sort of trouble, we can take a bit of pride from that.
All right, take a deep breath. James Harris, maiden century. It's hard in defeat, but my goodness me, that was one heck of an innings.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say, to be honest, about it. I mean, you go out and bat and try and not look at the board too much, apart from how many you need and where the run rate is and stuff like that. So to get 100 was lovely. It would have been lovely if we'd have won them. I won't take that in for a little while. It's been on the bucket list of things to do. It's a shame we didn't win the game.
Well, here's to a few more. You've been stranded a few times down the order. You've talked about batting at 7 and possibly even one day pushing into that top 6 if you could, if required. I mean, you've made a real point today when seeing an incredible knock through, and a word for John Simpson as well, because it was an outstanding partnership.
Yeah, we went really well together. We dovetailed quite well. I hit a couple of boundaries and then had a bit of trouble, and Simo hit a couple of boundaries when I was in trouble. So he's been ready to do that for a little while. He felt like he's been hitting them really well, and the way he finished the game the other night at Kent, he went couple of big sixes to sort of see that innings home and to get us to 380. So there was a big knock from him and a big partnership by us, and we got close.
Goes without saying, innings of your life to this point, but here's to a few more.
Absolutely, yeah. So far, we've been talking about getting up the order, so kudos to that, I suppose, and we'll see where that takes us. But it's just bitterly disappointing not to see us home, really, in what we felt we were getting to a place where we could have had a really closer run at it at the end.
A final thought on taking it forward, because there's been a lot achieved in this One Day Cup, even though it's not to be a semi-final place. The performance levels have been huge. Those 6 wins, 2 defeats, the manner of the performances as well, and also the manner of the comebacks, even though it is a comeback in defeat today. That's something to take forward now, isn't it? And you mentioned the coaching staff. I mean, Leicestershire next up. I'm sure yourself, who's been hitting the coming through quite nicely. It's been coming out really well this season, hasn't it? But all of the players will want to really pick up now in the Championship and get the season moving off the back of what's been overall a very positive Royal London One Day Cup.
It has. It's been a really positive competition, I think, as well, with the amount of boys, the amount of change we've had in the team throughout the tournament, really, with some of the boys going off to England and Ireland. We can take a lot of pride with how we've played in this tournament and the change we've made in our one-day cricket, I think, which is the most notable thing. We haven't just won games, we've won from all sorts of situations. We've won scoring 380 and defending it, and we've won by bowling well at times as well. So yeah, we can take that into the Championship. We've got 7 4-day games now coming up on the bounce, which would be tough, physically as well as anything else. So we need to keep guys fit and find us in some Red Bull form, and we'll take a lot of this form, I think, into that competition.
It was a slowish start in the first 2 games, so I'm sure you're all desperate to get going because, just watching the players operate, watching the coaches operate in this few weeks, it seems to have had a real bonding impact under the new regime.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gone really well. The boys have just got a more of an air of confidence about them, I think, at the moment, and that's probably shown in the way we've played our cricket in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll bring that into the 4-day competition going forward and try and notch up some wins there.
Well, that's it. Unlucky.
Thanks.